In our last class, we have already learned the concept of nested if-else. And in today's class, we will be learning another important concept of any programming language, and that is else-if ladder. We know in C program the statements are executed in sequential manner unless there is a specified condition where the control of the program jumps from one place to another by skipping the statements in between. That means the execution of a statement or a block of statements is done based on a specified condition. This flowchart we have already seen in our last class, where we check for a condition here, and if the result of that condition is true, then we process this statement, and then next the control goes to this statement, and if it is false, then directly the control goes to this statement. So whether it is true or false, this statement will be processed, and there is no specific statement which will be processed if the condition is false. So that is the concept of simple if statement, and this is the syntax that we follow in C program. And this is a piece of code that we have already seen in our last class for a simple if statement. Then we already have seen the simple if else statement, and this is the flowchart where we check for this condition, and if the condition is true, then we process this block of statements, and if the condition is false, then we process this block of statements. So for if else statement in our program, there is a specific block of statements that will be processed if the condition is true, and there will be another specific block of statements which will be processed if the condition is false. And whether it is true or false, always this specific statement or this specific block of statements will be processed. And this is the piece of code that we again have seen in our last class. So in this piece of code, we have only one if and one else. Then comes the nested if else. So in nested if else, there will be more than one if, or rather what we know that there will be one if under another if. But theoretically there could be any number of nesting, but it increases the complexity of the program as the number of nesting or the layer of nesting increases. Now in this flowchart, which we already aware of, here we are checking for one condition, and if that condition is true, then we are checking for another condition. So here one thing that we should notice is that if the condition is true, then we are checking for another condition. So that if is under another if, and then if that condition is true, then this statement is getting processed or executed. But here again we can check for another condition, but provided when the condition 2 is true, then we will be checking for condition 3, and if the condition 3 is true, then we will be checking for condition 4, and that way it continues. And now if the condition 4 is false, then there will be another specific statement. If the condition 3 is false, then there will be another statement which will be processed. Then if the condition 2 is false, then we are processing here the statement 2. Here when the condition 1 is false, then we are processing statement 3, and for every condition, whether it is true or false, the program, that flow of the program goes through statement X, and then rest of the lines of the program. So that concept, that logic we already know. Now this is the part else if ladder, which is the main part of today's class. What is the difference of else if ladder with nested if else? In case of nested if else, what I said, there will be one if under another if. So if the condition of the previous if is true, then we go for checking the second condition, and if the condition of if the result of second condition is true, then we go for checking the third condition. So if under another if. But in case of else if ladder, there will be one if part, and under that if we check for one condition, and if that condition is true, then we process one statement or block of statements, and then corresponding to that if there will be else part, and under that else there will be another if, and if that is true, then there will be one statement which will be processed or a block of statements, and corresponding to that second if there will be another else part, and under that second else we may have another if part, and that way it continues. So in the previous case it was if under one if, and in this case if under else part. So that we will see in this flowchart. So this is the control of the program. So first we will check for one condition, the first condition. If that condition is true, then we will process one statement or block of statements. Here it is statement 1. And if that condition 1 is false, then we will check for another condition. So here is the difference. Now if it is true, then we will be processing statement 2, and if it is false, then we will again check condition 3, another condition. If it is true, then we will process statement 3. If it is false, then we may check another condition, and this way we may have n number of conditions. So here that has been shown here that condition n, we have reached to condition n if the previous condition was false, following that rule or concept. So if condition n is true, then we will be processing statement n, and if condition n, the last condition, is false, then here we will be processing a statement which will be default. So this default statement will be processed when the last condition is false. In the similar thing happens in case of nested if else also. There, if the result of the last condition is true, means the result of the last if under which we have that condition, if that is true, then we process the default statement. And here in case of else if ladder, if the result of the last condition is false, then we process the default statement. Then again in the program we may have some common statements which will be processed always whether the result of any condition is true or false. And then there will be the rest of the lines of the program. And now we will see the same logic in program. So here this is the problem or the requirement that we will be processing through our C program. And here when the average marks is between 80 to 100, then the grade will be honors, and so on, from 60 to 79 first division, and the rest of the things you can say it is in front of you. Now this logic will be implementing. Definitely there is a condition. If it is 80 to 100, then the grade will be honors, and if it is this, then the grade will be that, this way. So definitely we will have condition checking in our C program, and there are 5 conditions, and based on that there will be 5 types of decisions, different decisions. And that's why we will be processing in our program either by using nested if else or by using else if ladder. This time we will be using else if ladder, and this is the piece of program, the main logic of the program where we have used the else if ladder. So what we can see here is, first we are checking if the marks is greater than 79. Marks is greater than 79 means it will be 80 onwards, and we will assume that the marks will not be more than 100. So when the marks is between 80 and 100, then the grade will be honors. So if this condition is true, then the grade will be honors, and then we will come to the else part. Else means the marks which is between 0 to 79, that will come under else part, right? Here when the marks is greater than 79, then the grade is honor. So it is 80 to 100. But what about the rest? Rest is from 0 to 79. So in the else part, we will have all these marks from 0 to 79. But again, there will be 4 divisions based on the range of the marks. So first we need to define this from 60 to 79. And that's why under that else, we are using another if. We are checking another condition. So whether the marks is greater than 59 or not. Here, when we are checking whether the marks is greater than 59 or not, it's not 60 onwards. Definitely it starts from 60, but it will go till 79, because here under this if we have already checked the marks when it is greater than 79. So from 80 to 100. And in the else part, as I said, it will be between 0 to 79. So when under that else we are checking another condition, which when that is marks is greater than 59, so definitely it will start from 60, but it will go till 79. So when the marks is between 60 and 79, then the grade will be first division. Now of this if there is another corresponding else, and under that else what will come? The rest of the marks, and that is below 60. That means from 0 to 59. Now under that else again we have 3 more divisions, so we need to check for 3 more conditions. So under that else, where we have from 0 to 59, again we need to specify the conditions, and accordingly we need to mention the grades. So under that else, again we will have another if, where we are checking for the third condition, and third condition is what? It is between 45 to 59. But under this else, we have from 0 to 59, so we need to filter out. So that's why here the condition is greater than 44. So when we are specifying this condition, whether the marks is greater than 44 or not, it starts from 45, and it will go to till which marks? It will go till 59, not 100. This time under else, as I said, from 0 to 59. So here it will be when marks is greater than 45. Under this if, it will be from 45 to 59. Now accordingly we are providing the grade, and then for of this if, there will be corresponding else part, and under this else, what is the range of marks that will come? In this if part, it was greater than 44, so means it started from 45. So in this else part, it will be from 0 to 44. But again we have two more divisions, so we need to specify one more condition here. So that is greater than 29. When we are mentioning, that means it will start from 30 to 44, and accordingly third division we are mentioning here, or we are providing, and then of this if, there is a corresponding else part. And else part, here we don't need to specify the last condition, because in this else part, under this, the last range falling, which is 0 to 29. So that is the default range, that is the last range, and this is the default grade. As I said, in the last else part, when the result of last condition checking will be false, then we will be processing the default statement. And here this fail, grade is equal to fail, that is the default statement, and that will come under the last else part. And that's why in the last else part, we don't need to mention any condition. And then this printf is the, as per the flowchart, that was statement x, which was the common statement, or which is the common statement here, which will be processed whether the result of any condition is true or false, or whichever part within this else if ladder is getting processed. Irrespective of that, the printf will be processed. And you are already well aware of this indentation and the alignment of if else, so that should be follow properly in the program, in the C program or any kind of program. So this was about else if ladder. I hope you have understood the concept clearly, and you will be able to implement this logic in any program that we will be writing in future. With that hope, I end today's class. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.